Hello everybody, my name is Tnuki, or Brenden if you prefer, from a Xidon gaming crew, and this is the second time I'm recording this because I am a complete idiot and forgot to hit record the first time. So my apologies, and also my apologies to myself because I regret nothing and I am a total idiot. I totally do regret that because I gotta do this again. Oh boy, alright. So I'm going to be showing you how I edit using Adobe Premiere Pro CC 2015. And yeah, so if you didn't know, I generally edit most of the videos for the Xidon gaming crew, or I don't know if "the" is required, but yes. So I'm going to be editing a Xenoblade episode. I don't remember which one it is, but it doesn't really matter right now. It's usually once it uploads. But for now, I've got all my files together here. So just to quickly go through it, we record our video and our audio separately. Audio as in our voices. The audio for the game itself is included in the video. So generally we use our Hauppauge or Elgato, depending on the console, to record, well, our video. For this, we used a Hauppauge on the Wii for Xenoblade Chronicles. And for the audio, we used Adobe Audition Creative Cloud, which is what we generally always use, more or less. So, and then here, we've got the sequence from last time I messed up, and I don't know what just happened there. Alright. My bad. So we don't need that because that was a sequence from when I wasn't recording. So here we've got the intro, which we do not need yet. We've got the outro, which we do not need yet. The subscribe, which we do not need yet. And the 720p background, which we will need momentarily. So start off by taking the video and dragging it in to create a new sequence. Also, this might be a different layout than the default. I was messing around with the settings, and this is generally what's most comfortable for me, so it shouldn't be too hard to follow along, at least I hope so. And then drag in the audio, and I generally expand both. And then you're going to want to take the video and drag it up one slot. The video should move, but the audio portion of the video should not, because that's what's happening. This up here, everything above this line right here is the video. Everything below this line is the audio. Because when you click it, both of these are highlighted. They are both selected at the same time, which means they are linked because both of them were recorded simultaneously. And next, we're going to want to drag in the background. And gosh dingus, Skype, not right now. Close, and a goodbye. Now, I went to my taskbar. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. Alright, now, before I forget, I'm going to take the background and expand it all the way to the end of the file, which is a little over 2 hours. Because this is... we don't start the recording every episode. What we do is we start the recording, we do a sync, which I'll explain later, and then we just keep going. And to do that, we use time cards, which I'll bring up on the screen in a minute. So... yes. What you'll notice maybe is there's nothing really on screen to tell you, but this is 1080p, but we don't want that because the Wii doesn't output in that. It was upscaled, and pretty much what that means is it's just making the file bigger. It might say, oh, actually this is 1080i, my bad. So it's just making the file bigger, but it's not actually changing the quality, so we don't want that. So I'm going to go open this drop-down menu and click HDV 720p. So this is bringing it more down to its native size. Now what's going to happen, you'll notice here, is this is going to get bigger, and we don't want that. So we're going to click the video, drop down motion, and put about, I believe, 67. And yeah, that's decent. You'll notice that there's also a black border, but if you mute or disable this, the background is there. So what we want to do is go into the Effects tab, and I've already typed this out from the previous again, and take Crop, and put that on the video and bring back this. Now what we want to do is, generally for this type of file, I find that 2% all along gets rid of that black border. So now we've got a clean cut. It's a little rough down here, but I won't worry about that right now. And you can see the background. So next what we want to do is save. Because yes, I have lost many of videos because I have neglected to save. And you'll maybe notice that I just double saved because the program does save automatically, but it's generally not too frequent, and I try to get in the habit of doing it manually. So now, what you'll notice here is this is our time code or timestamp, whatever you prefer. The first here is our frames. You'll notice that once it gets to 30, it rolls over. This rolls over because 30 is our frames per second, and every 1 second there is 30 frames, which is frames per second, I suppose. So what you want to do is, okay, here is the time card, and if you look right under Xidon, it says sync. We didn't do an end sync for this particular episode because it wasn't entirely necessary, but the sync itself is at 1 minute, and if you scroll to 1 minute, you'll notice if I zoom in, also hold, if you want to do scroll without any buttons or, you know, clicking over here, you hold Alt and use the mouse wheel. So now, you'll notice at about 1 minute, there is a jump in the waveform. And I'm still getting Skype messages on my phone. Gosh dingus. Be quiet, please. I am busy. So, right about here, I'm gonna mute the game file because we don't need the audio for that right now. So if I play it.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
So yeah, that is our sync. Now, generally, a big help for a sync is to have some kind of rhythm. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's generally what I use. And I think Logan might have gotten the habit of using the same thing. Now, the thing with that is, because it's a rhythm, it's much easier to pick up on in the editing process. So if you're just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, it works, definitely, but it's harder to, I don't know about harder, it's just, it makes it easier in the long run, I suppose. So if you've got background noise and things like that going on, it's much easier to pick up on if you have some kind of rhythm or beat. So, yes. Now what we want to do is, I'm going to scroll in more. Right about there is where he starts saying the 1. So I'm going to go Control K to cut that and delete that. Now what we want to do is actually look at the video and scroll here. Notice that the green cursor up here is not moving. So what I want to do is scroll.
1, 2, 3.
There we go. So you see where that moved? Because this is generally on the sync. The audio and video is usually no more than a couple seconds apart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the arrow keys to scroll one frame at a time, pardon me, to about there. And now I'm going to Control K, cut, and delete. And I'm going to drag that up here. It should snap. And
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Don't take the last part. It's way out of sync.
All right, there. Beautiful, perfect sync, more or less. It's probably not perfect, but it will do just fine for now. Now that we have the sync, we can generally find the starting point of the first episode, except I have already, let's say, edited. Why did it? That just makes me so suspicious. I have already edited the first 3 episodes on this time card. So what I want to do is go to the bottom one, which is 4-14, and under start, if you look there, it's at 1 hour, 24 minutes, and about 25 seconds. Sorry, I had to move past the mic there to see the time card. So I'm gonna want to scroll out so I can actually get that far. And then you can actually type straight into here, but I generally don't do that because it's kind of a hassle and I just got in the habit of scrubbing. So 1 minute 25. Alright. So yes. 1 minute 25. So about there. So what I want to do is, and then listen to it for when the episode actually starts.
Definitely, this is...
Okay, that's a problem. I'm gonna go back here so we can actually hear the audio and... Hold on. You'll notice that the in-game audio is way louder than the actual audio of us talking. So what I want to do is grab this line. Here it's kind of hard to see, but if you notice the cursor changes, and that means you can grab it, and it's going to change it, and you're going to start going up or down. We're going to want to go down to lower the volume. And generally I can go to 25 decibels, but 35 might be more optimal here.
That is true.
It's just the kid that...
Now you'll notice that you can hear us talking with the audio of the game in the background.
Yeah, 0 to like Mach 1 at... like... there we go.
So this is the third episode of the time card, because it has not ended yet. So what I'm going to do is scrub. The episode should have ended by now. And 25 seconds. No, that's too much. Right there. I believe. I'm going to scroll in more just because it's easier to move around. So this is in between episodes.
So now what? You wanna keep playing?
No,
Right there, welcome back. That's generally what we use, and it's easier to discern. And right now, you'll notice that there is a gap in the waveform. This is just us talking in between episodes, and this is where welcome back is. So I'm going to want to go a little bit before there. Maybe right there, and highlight the entire thing, and Control K.
Welcome back. We have to start.
Alright. Save. Save, there we go. Alright, so that will be about where the episode starts. Now what we want to do is find where it ends, which is at 2 minutes, 11 minutes, or 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 20 seconds. 11 minutes. I'm just gonna go there, zoom in, nice and easy.
Perfect. I'm gonna flip this
And
save the game.
We're a bunch of jokers. Sorry.
What for?
Sounded like you were gonna say something.
Nope. Either mine.
alright, so this is maybe a weird case, because we didn't actually say see you next time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to, there's a big gap here, and generally you don't want that, you want talking, because that's what's gonna keep people engaged, generally. So I'm going to go right to the end of this waveform here.
Sounded like you were gonna say something.
Nope.
And I'm gonna cut, Control K, boom, bada bing, and I'm going to, okay, this part is a little odd, but I'm going, not really odd, it's just, it's different, but excuse me, I have a bit of a stutter when I talk for very long periods of time. I'm going to highlight everything that we have here, so if we zoom out, we find this is our episode. And I'm going to right click and click nest. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type ZB for Xenoblade, because Xenoblade Chronicles is pretty long name to put in the title. And I'm going to do is 04, because this is our 4th recording session of this game. And what I'm going to do is -4, because this is our 4th episode of our 4th recording session. And click OK. Now, alright, now we can actually get into some more editing. So what I'm going to do here is, again, if you look at the time card, we have a notes section. And what we do there is we write in the time for if we want, well, me to do something in post. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to 27:15. Right about there. Yeah, that's maybe a bit too close.
Okay, I'm gonna kill someone.
No, still too early.
Just fast forward this.
Right there. Logan asks me to fast forward. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to scroll or play until I find a suitable place to cut it.
Right.
I may kill some things.
Right there. Now. I give myself a bit. I give a sharp. I say now. That gives me an easy place to find when I want to cut. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna highlight. No, that's wrong. Don't listen to me right there. I'm going to click the green box that we created when we nested it. I'm going to click this, and I'm going to go up here and click this arrow on the blue line, and click add marker. Now what that's going to do is it's going to create a little green arrow down here. Now we don't want to touch that right yet. Now we want to go to the second note, which is at 1:43:15, which is just about there. Now generally it's easier to get back in because you can see the waveform jump. Give it a second. There we go.
Alright, we're done fast.
So I'm gonna go right there. I'm gonna highlight the green nest again. Right click, add marker. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the nest and then I'm going to double click. And now what this is going to do is it's going to open the nest in here with the markers still here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the first marker, highlight, Control K, cut. Second marker, Control K, cut. And I'm going to expand this because I don't really know why it's not. Now what I'm going to do here is this is all while we're fast forwarding. This is just basically mindless grinding and things like that. We don't really want that in the episode. So I'm going to click the video. Go up here to clip, speed, and duration. And I'm going to find a suitable speed to fast forward to. So it's still about 10 seconds. That's even at 9,000%. That's kind of tedious for a fast forward. So maybe, oh boy, maybe, boy, I believe it can only be compressed so much. So what I'm gonna do is so now this has been shortened extremely, but it's still going to be at 30 frames per second. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to just delete it. And now I'm going to take our background and it should snap right in there. Perfect. And now I can take this and drag it over and it should also snap. Now our episode is substantially shorter. And save while I'm thinking of it. Now, we don't want this audio because that is going to be high-pitched and squeaky because it's being fast-forwarded and compressed. So I'm going to drag this all the way down until it says infinity. Or it might it's 0, 0, I don't know. It looks like an infinity to me. Now there won't be any sound in here. But that's no fun. So what I'm going to do is, let's see. Have our Xidon folder, and we've got a folder filled with, not that folder, royalty-free sound effects. So, no, not that. Sorry if that's loud. I can never remember which of these is which. Something interesting just for the 9 seconds that it's going to be fast forwarding. That'll do. So I'm gonna go here and I don't care. Hold on. Alright. So I'm going to drag this in there. Boom. And I'm going to drag this onto the timeline. Except I didn't think that through. And I need to click down here, right click, add track. Oops. Okay. So I'd add a track above and not below. Not that that really matters a ton. Right there. Alright. Oh boy, bit of lag happening. Okay, right there. That's where it starts. And I'm going to drag that over. And this is probably the boring part. And we're gonna cut it again. Cut it again, wrong button. There we go. So now, because it's so compressed, it's not exactly going to play lag-free. It's kind of speeding through thousands of frames in a matter of seconds. Okay.
Alright, we're done fast.
So, don't really worry about that. It'll be fine in the end result. Now what I've also done is I've created, okay, delete that, we don't need the crop anymore. Presets, I've created a fast forward preset, which is pretty much just brush strokes, animated and set to horizontal. So, put that on there, and any minute, there we go. Now it kind of creates a blurring effect that will make it look a bit more like it's being all fast forwardy and fun stuff like that. Alright, now that we've done that, we can add in the intro and outro, and that would be just about it. So I'm going to drag this over so there's room for said intro, and I'm going to drag in there it is, perfect. Zoom back in. And I can drag this back over, boom. And now, generally, what I'm going to want to do is, the intro itself is very loud. So, generally, I just said that. I drag it to minus, it's not working. Hold on. Minus 22, 21, about there is good. So now, it's not overwhelmingly loud, it's about here on the spectrum. Alright.
Welcome back. We have
Perfect.
To
Alright, save. And what we can do now is go to the end. And what we want to do is just listen through.
If I can't find the split point,
then this was just an hour-long episode.
sure.
Next time, generally that's what we use, and I'm going to take the subscribe and drag it in on top. Okay, this is an AVI .mov also works, but what that means, okay, it's not what it means, but these file types have the ability to have transparency. So now if I play it, you'll notice that this comes here. It's not with a black background, it's transparent, and that's exactly what we want.
For several hours for this game already. Well, a couple hours anyway.
Yeah, we should probably play something else. Oh, we're gonna do the stream.
Okay, I'm gonna have to move this because it's not a long enough file, so... it worked out, because I said next time again, so not too bad.
We're not gonna kill more things. Maybe we will.
Alright.
Excuse me. We're gonna kill lots of things and watch our friends die.
Alright, so...
and just have a good...
And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through frame by frame and find the very last frame. And I know there's probably an easier way to, I know there is an easier way to do that, but this is just what I do. It makes me feel a bit more comfortable. I'm doing it manually. So right there, that is our last frame. So I'm gonna go to the black, the darkness, and drag in our outro, which also has a little bit of transparency. But be warned, having transparency in any file type will vastly make it a larger file size. So what I'm going to do is also drag this down to about 21 and go back to the view. Now this is too soon, I believe. So I'm going to unsnap it. That's what this magnet over here does. Zoom in and just move it a couple frames at a time. That's too late. And there we go, bada boom, perfect. Now if we play it, and there we go.
Sorry.
What for?
Alright, because it also has an alpha, it's a bigger file type and it's harder for it to process, so don't be alarmed if it does lag again, it will be fine in the end result. So there we go. More or less, we have our episode. Because this is a tutorial, I'm not going to watch through the episode, because generally you can, if you watch through the episode, you can add in a little bit of touches here and there and make it all nice and snazzy. But for now, I'm going to leave it at that. We still have our markers here, but that's not really important. We don't need them anymore and it won't affect the end result. So now I'm going to, with this window highlighted, Control M and give it a minute, and it will bring up our export settings. Now, generally, I'm going to show you what export settings I have, and it's this drop down menu H.264, and that's a .mp4. Now I have a custom preset. Oh boy, got a bit of a runny nose going on. And I have a YouTube 1080p and a YouTube 720p and a high bitrate 720p. So I'm just gonna go standard. Now generally, so it's 1280 by 720, that's what we want. And I'm gonna go VBR 1 pass. You can do 2, but generally, unless you know exactly what you're looking for, it's not gonna make a huge difference. So, hold on, and alright, so target bitrate and maximum bitrate, I generally have somewhere between 8 and 12, but 8 will do just fine right now. Have use maximum render quality selected. Audio, AAC works fine. Sample rate, either 480 or 441 will work. Audio quality high, and the bitrate 320, perfect. Now for multiplexer captions. You can publish straight to YouTube, but I prefer not to because then I don't have the presets of the tags and all that stuff. So I'm just going to go to video. Effects isn't really important unless you want that, but I'm not going to cover that here. And then we can go Q. Now it's going to export to a separate program, which you probably need to have installed, but I believe it's free. If you have Premiere Pro, you probably have this anyway, so don't worry about that. It's the Adobe Media Encoder, and it's pretty much just a way to queue up and an external way to... Ah, jeez, I'm sorry about that. I was stretching. Oh boy, I hope that didn't mess it up royally. But the Adobe Media Encoder is an external way to render, so you don't have to leave Premiere Pro open. So there it is. Okay, I just closed it. My bad. There it is. So, we got YouTube 720p, and here you can choose where it is. Again, on the external hard drive, I have a ready-to-upload file, so these are all episodes. I believe probably the vast majority of them have already been uploaded. But, so here what we want, because I've already done this, it didn't, but I wasn't recording. 4-4, that's it, but we don't want that. So I'm going to say 4-4, final in all caps, so it stands out when I go to upload it. Save, and then we can just click the little play button. And it might take a while. How long is this episode? It's about 34 minutes. So it'll probably take, assuming you have a decent computer, and the settings I have set aren't very demanding. So it should take about the same length as it, so it's about 38 minutes remaining. That's not bad at all. So, there we go. Save one last time just so I have that in my file. I guess that's it for now. And after this is done, you can go into the file that you exported it to and upload said video to YouTube. And from there you can adjust the settings however you like. So, my name is Tnuki, or Brenden if you prefer, from Xidon Gaming Crew, and I thank you very much for watching my tutorial. Maybe I'll do another one in the future, I don't really know. But, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.